It was giant, enormous, dark, and it was something that I never saw before. The speed was kind of like I was going faster on a surfboard, but it was looking like everything was moving so slow and like moving as a giant, as a proper giant. And I had the sense that I could make like any mistake and that I had to ride the wave.
This is Life's Tough, Explorers Are Tougher, and I'm your host, Richard Wiese. Scratch the surface of an explorer and you'll find an adventure and a great story. This show is about their tales. This podcast is a proud supporter of the Explorers Club and the EC50 Initiative, 50 people changing the world that the world needs to know about. For more information, go to explorers.org. When you think of big wave surfing, Hawaii, California, Australia probably all come to mind. But year in and year out, the tiny country of Portugal produces the biggest surfing waves in the world. In January of 2018, Hugo Vau smashed a world record by surfing a wave reported to be over 100 feet. Joining us from that tiny country of Portugal is Hugo Vau.
Hi, Richard. Good to see you.
For people who think of surfing, for me as a kid, Hawaii always came to mind, or even California. How did surfing start in Portugal? And why do you have the biggest waves in the world, or some of the biggest waves in the world?
So surf started in Portugal maybe 30, 35, 40 years ago. And it was it's a young sport, like it's a really, really recent sport. And it was kind of like a sport that was not really accepted in the beginning. It was not like a football or swimming or something like that. It was a bit of, a sport related to people that just want to spend the day in the beach, enjoying the sun, doing nothing. And in the beginning, it was quite tough to surf in Portugal, to take a surfboard in the bus, or even to have the acceptance from the parents to do a totally different thing. About the biggest waves, they were there since ever. They were there for a million years. Surf is a recent sport in Portugal, so we don't have the same tradition like in Hawaii. And obviously, those waves start to get discovered by the influence of the tow-in surf, by the jet ski, that gave us the chance to get those huge waves. And it was like, it was a different learning time from Hawaii. Things here happened like more or less 20 years after then they started to happen in Hawaii. So,
but even the personal discovery of those waves, you're from that area, Nazaré, which is just north of Lisbon, not that far. And so when you go to the beaches around there, the beaches seem kind of normal, but you come to this one point where there's a big lighthouse, and up on the hill there's a church, and suddenly the waves are just monstrous. I mean, for anybody who's ever seen a big wave, a 10-foot wave or 20-foot wave, those are big waves. So how did you guys come to that one spot?
Yes, the waves in Nazaré, they are produced by a natural phenomenon, which is like the Nazaré Canyon. It's an underwater canyon that goes around maybe 3.5 miles deep, and goes maybe for 30, 40 miles into the ocean. So it's a huge valley, underwater valley, really deep. The waves will arrive to the North Beach with all of the energy and all of the speed. So that place was related, the Praia do Norte was related to death because it was like a really dangerous place for the fishermen, and they were always avoiding that place. Somehow we managed to start surfing and to explore this place in 2007. The first ones to surf bigger waves were the bodyboarders, actually, and that's how I arrived to Nazaré to perform water safety in a bodyboard contest. That was 2007. The municipality of the place start to look at it like as a something really different. They start to notice that the waves here quite bigger than other parts of the world, like comparing pictures and videos and etc. But it was really tough to understand the size of those waves in the bigger days because there was not a human to have like that kind of comparison with the size of a human being. So it was really tough. The waves looked like huge, especially when they were like breaking further outside. So the municipality started a project, which was the North Canyon project that started in 2010, in order to start the exploration of the place and even to to share it with the world and to show to the world that Nazaré has the biggest waves. So that adventure started in 2010. I teamed up at that point with Garrett McNamara and Andrew Cotton, and we start to explore and to show to the world the potential and the enormous and the huge waves of Nazaré. So that happened, and in 2011, Garrett broke the world record with 70 foot wave. It was the first worldwide communication about the Nazaré waves. It was at that time with that wave. It was around, I think, 23 meters. I think. So all of the process, it was quite natural. We were just like doing what we love, surfing, and we got teams inland taking videos and stills, and the municipality was sharing that with the world. And in 2013, I think it was the first year that the world really kind of accepting totally the reality of these huge waves, because the sessions of huge waves, they start to be like, actually there is like big waves like worldwide in places like Jaws, like Mavericks, but they are not so big, and they don't break so often. In Nazaré, they are huge, and they are like breaking, like really there are winters that we can have like really around 10 to 15 really big sessions. And the stories of the fishermen, first of all, they thought that we were completely crazy, insane.
You might be.
Just a little bit. That adventure would not take too long, because they thought that we were going to be dead like sooner or later. But by the other side, they were kind of curious by all of the safety displays, and they were quite surprised when we were going and coming back almost like every huge day. So they start to believe and to admire as well what we are doing there. And obviously in those kind of daily big sessions, we are coming to the harbor really excited with the big waves that we are surfing. And the fishermen start to tell us, oh, you are surfing, big waves, but you haven't seen anything yet, because there is a huge wave, much bigger than the ones that you are surfing now, that breaks further outside. It's like 0.8 miles away from the lighthouse, straight into the ocean. And that wave, when it breaks, that's a really big wave. So we start to tell, okay, that mythical wave, we start to naming it like as the big mama, like the mother of all of the waves that we were surfing in the first peak, second peak, the first peak where Garrett broke the world record, and then second peak, and then the third peak. And it was like always like something in the mind. But when it was breaking, it was always like super stormy and impossible to surf. So 8 years after the start of the exploration, that huge wave on that day that you said, like in 17 January 2018, that wave showed up in really challenging conditions, and we went a bit to push our limits to conditions that we never been before. The wind was super gnarly, and we had the bless to be able to surf.
Our mission is to empower the next generation of explorers. If you like this podcast, please recommend it to a friend and have them join the expedition. It looks like the sun is behind the wave, and you have this beautiful sort of silhouette. I would say look up this wave, because to me it's one of the most beautiful surfing pictures or videos, because you see the lighthouse appears very tiny, and because of the compression of the photography, you see this massive wave that just looks like it's going to crash on top of the lighthouse. And then you see this tiny, tiny, tiny dot, which is you. And to me, I look at that and I have so many questions. I mean, what is running through your mind when you step out onto that? Because that's like stepping into space.
I can tell, Richard. Actually, you had the chance to see that those special images and the moments as well, because it was something unique. Like the nature, it was our will and the will of nature letting us be there and not taking us be there, because it was a really beautiful moment of like connection with nature, like be totally focused in the present moment. And the lights, it was like the golden hour, really. It was such a beautiful scenario, like such a scenic, the colors, the way that the waves are breaking, the intensity of nature. That was something that I never saw before, like in the water that I was. So it was like such a strong wind. The ocean was huge, huge, huge. It was nothing comparable with that day.
But the moment you step out there, I know that in mountaineering, whenever I've stepped out onto big mountaineering legends or things that are big, bigger than you used to, you can't help but have that sort of feeling in your chest or in your hands. When you went out there, did you know that this was going to be the biggest waves ever attempted? Or maybe people have attempted that size, they haven't necessarily done it. I mean, there's got to be that feeling when you're on top of there and you start moving out into position.
Actually, by I was like I'm looking for forecasts in Severs. Like in the last 10 years, it's my daily life to look for forecasts, and I knew, and we knew as a team, that was going to be the biggest day ever. It was clear as water. It was like 6.5 meters, 22 seconds period. And before, for you to get the chance to have like, how can we relate that? The day of Garrett in 2011, it was 3.6 meters, 15 periods. So it was like almost the double of the size. And the storm was like in a perfect direction. And the numbers were telling that that was going to be the biggest day ever surfed or seen with surfing conditions. Or like, actually, it was not surfing conditions, because when we went to surf, actually we made the bet to go out a little bit later than all of the other teams, because I knew that by the forecast, the biggest time of the day, it was going to be around 4:30 p.m. So instead of going really early in the morning, we take our time. We had like really relaxed morning, and we went for it, trying to get the biggest time of the day. And but the wind was so gnarly that when we went out, all of the other teams were coming back to the harbor, and they were kind of telling us, "Hey, don't go. It's like it's too much. It's super windy. It's impossible to surf. There is no conditions." But we were kind of, and we had to go for it, because it was something that we want to experience. We were waiting for this. I was waiting for this like for 7 years for this moment, and the wind was in the limits that could be surfable. And the strategy, and that I shared that with my teammates before, it was okay. If Big Mama is going to break, it's going to be like a right end, so we're going to surf the wave to the right, so we can use the wave to kind of use it as a shelter of the wind, because and that's what we did. We kind of used the wave itself to kind of get like a momentum where it was not so windy, and actually the wind was kind of pushing us in the right direction. So it was a bit of strategy and kind of be with nature as at the top level, because we were inside a wave and you were using the wave to get a bit of shelter of the wind that was making the session impossible, because we spent 3-4 hours in the ocean before we get that wave. So
your partner is for that, Alex, right? Alex Potello was towing you out
Alex
there.
Potello, yeah.
So you've known him, since you were teenagers. What are your final words when you sort of push off for it? I mean, did you say anything to each other?
We were so happy. We were like, that was like, I can say the definition of the teamwork. Because we, as I told you, we spent 3-4 hours in the ocean, like with super windy conditions, trying to get waves towards north direction. And I was quite exhausted. And then I said to Alex, "Hey, Alex, for me, I'm pretty much done. So if you are okay, we can surf more or go to the harbor." And he said to me, "Oh, Hugo, I would like to try to get a wave." So yeah, I said, let's go for sure. Let's do it. And when he finished the wave, he was so happy. We were so happy, both of us, that it was kind of a contagious feeling. He told me, "Hey, Hugo, it was such a cool ride. You wanna go again?" And I looked for such a beautiful smile and happiness, and I said, "Of course I want to go for one more wave." And I jumped to the rope, and 20 seconds after, the wave just showed up.
And so you're stepping on it, and I've never stood on a wave that tall, not nearly that tall, as you know, since you actually taught me surfing. And so, what are you thinking? Are you so focused in the moment that you're not thinking anything? Are you nervous? I mean, there's got to be a point of you that's saying, "Oh, I don't want to curse, but you've got to be saying, oh my God, this is massive." I mean, you probably want to stay super focused because if you fall, there are big problems.
Yes, we were. First of all, we were in the ocean with that feeling that we used to have in the first days, because in the first days you feel that the waves are bigger. But then after 6 or 7 years, you kind of get used to that reality. In that day, the waves felt big again, really big again. So we were like really like kind of aware of everything, really focused, and really knowing that we were by ourselves in the ocean. We got Marcelo Luna doing our backup in another ski, but the conditions were so gnarly that we knew that any mistake would be really like tough to solve. All of that's reality, but by the other side, knowing that if the wave was going to show up, we would have just like one chance to get it. So it's like.
And
it's
so
like,
how long were you on the face? How long did that ride take?
Around 25 seconds, 20 to 25 seconds. The moment was such a special thing, because when Jesus is the nickname of our spotter and the filmmaker, that the only one that was able to capture those images, and he was like maybe 2.5 to around like 2 miles away from the place that the wave break, and he had the radio, so he called us to the area. He saw, there is waves breaking in the Big Mama area, so guys, please pay attention. And just like when we got there, the wave showed up, and he told Alex by the radio that there were like three huge waves on the way, and for us to pay attention to the second wave. His bet was on the second wave, and it was the perfect bet. He was,
I mean,
Jesus.
just the name, but so you have a spotter named Jesus. He's on a church, and I've been to this area. So you're on a hill that's a few hundred meters high, right? And you have a lighthouse that's very beautiful, simple lighthouse. And then you're offshore, and the area is Nazaré, which is Nazareth for Americans. So you have Jesus, Nazaré, and somebody surfing an ungodly or maybe a godly wave. And so you have that 20, 25 seconds. Did you know at that point, are you saying, did anybody see that? Or I'm happy to be alive? I mean, what's your feeling once you've finished that wave and sort of out of the wash?
Yes, the feeling is, I'm going to tell you first the feeling of the approach. Because,
yeah, I want to know.
Yeah, when Jesus told us, okay, to pay attention for the second wave, and when we went for it, we did exactly this. You used the strategy that we had, like that we have been thinking so much of, approaching the wave by the south side and wait for the wave to start growing up, and create that shelter that was that was making possible that we could like chase that huge entity so fast, because the waves were moving faster than ever. It was a totally different reality. And on the back of the ski, smoother the water, faster we could go. So as soon as the wave started to grow and grow and grow and grow, I was on the side of the wave, and I was trying to fade on the back of the ski as much as possible towards the wave. So when I let the rope, I was going faster than ever on a a tow surfboard, and I was kind of going towards to the wave, and I was able to see it like just right in front of me, and it was giant, enormous, like dark, and it was something that I never saw before. You know, when you see, imagine going to Everest, but you know, if somebody kind of put something around your eyes and just right in the middle, or maybe in the top, they take you the thing, and now this is where you are, and you see the Everest for the first time in front of you. It was something really like peculiar and special. So the speed was kind of like I was going faster on the surfboard, but it was looking like everything was moving so slow and like such as a giant, like moving as a giant, as a proper giant. And I had the sense that I could make like any mistake, and that I had to ride the wave like perfectly, because if that thing got me, I think I was going, you know, to the bottom of the ocean forever, because it was such a massive, one of the wildest manifestation of nature that the human can can
And
can can.
so what happens when you complete? How soon after does Alex, who took you out there, tell you that you know, he's seen it? And then, you know, in surfing, if no one sees it, it sort of doesn't count. So at what point does your the film guy Jesus say to you, "I've got this on film"? I mean, that's all coming together as a very special moment.
Yes, when we finished the ride, I was like, you know, giving hugs to Alex. Come to me, and he was quite happy to see me, because I disappeared. We got the three visions: me going on the wave, then Alex was on the ski, and his vision was like totally different. He saw me disappearing on like a black hole, and he was kind of really like concerned if I had made the ride. And he was like so happy when he saw me, that, you know, that big smile, and we were like really hugging each other. And when we pick up the radio to contact with Jesus, that first question, "Hey Jesus, did you get it?" It was because I got something with him. You know, we are in Nazaré since the first day, and he was present on every single session. But somehow, my best rides at that time, he was kind of missing it. It was like one of the rides that I went to the nominations of the XXL Awards. Like I was one of the top 5 waves. It just missed the wave. He started tracking the jet ski because he was really far away, and he thought that the jet ski was me, the white track, the white foam track. It was me. So he was like on me, and then he went to the jet ski, and he filmed all of the wave, just like focus on the jet ski. So we were kind of like that thing of superstition, that we are such a good friends. But you know, the most important moment, sometimes he missed it. But this one, no, you know, he said to me, "Okay, now I got it. I can see anything from here, because everything looks totally white. I need to arrive home and get back to this footage and see what I really can do it." And obviously, with special image treatment, he was able to start to see that black dot going down, and he managed to film it by instinct. When he made the call for the wave, he just saw a little shine. It was the front edge of the jet ski, and he knew that we were kind of there. So he filmed like all of the happening just by instinct, and he was able to getting us. So it was quite of a miracle, you know.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of miracles. And this is before, you know, you and I knew each other. I remember seeing it in the papers. It was in papers throughout the world. Those images, if you go online, you know, the millions of people have seen this. So how does life change for a guy from Portugal, a big wave surfer? I mean, life's instantly got to change for you at that point.
Yes, actually, it was a crazy media exposure. Like the wave went worldwide. You know, CNN, Fox News, like United States, all over the world. It was like worldwide. Like it was crazy. So I got so many, you know, interviews, and I had to explain it so many times to so many people that. But yeah, but it was important for us, most of all, to show the magic of, when people get united, when people work as a team. That was kind of the message that we want to pass to the world. This was a moment. You see the black dot, but behind the black, at the sides, the side by side of that black dot, there was a team supporting, believing, and working for that moment. All with the same.
But see, I know in your heart, because I know you, I've spent time with you. I know you are genuinely a very team-oriented, humble person. But if you ever want to feel the sort of winds of jealousy or hatred, accomplish something great, and then you'll have people saying, "Oh, it's not as high as it looks. It's this or that." I mean, there's also a portion of it that unfortunately, one of the human nature is jealousy, and the surfing community to have somebody who's not known suddenly thrust on top is got to have some pluses and minuses to it as well.
It's a new reality. As I said, it was the wave was worldwide. It was something totally different, obviously, and it was that exposure. I always and when people are listening the news or seeing the footage, obviously that people they see, they get their points of view, and it's good that there is different points of view, especially in this mystic moment, because we were there, we knew what happened by ourselves. We know what we did, and the energy and hard work that was needed along the years to get that moment. So obviously when there is obviously good opinions, amazing opinions, different opinions, and some of them are not so cool, or there is always people doubting of what the others do. But obviously, to stay focused on the positive side of it, and this special moment, it's I like to keep it as a mystery as well, because that's how the stories from the kings, they prevail, and they travel in time. It's when the king disappears in the mist. It was like that, right? It was kind of like something special, and I think it was not meant to be like something captured with a sharp image, because I think it would take a bit the magic of that moment, and it's for me like, imagine the nature was saying, okay, there are still things that we will not be able to measure, dear human, because I'm so immense that. So I think it was the nature making the part of keeping these as of a mystery wave, and I think that's how the magic stories show up, and the magic moments prevail in time. And that's a sentence that they say in Portugal, is that okay, if people speak good or bad, what matters is that they speak. So,
it's very refreshing attitude, because the at least the portrayal of surfers in American movies is that these are very guys who brag a lot and sort of have these super egos. Yet my observation in Portugal is that people with those kind of egos quickly are, shunned by society. So, I mean, it's refreshing to hear a champion surfer like you be such a normal person. So, as much as you enjoyed that moment of sitting really on top of the world, I know just a year ago, almost a year ago to the date, you were involved in that same area in a big surf accident, to where your the same partner, Alex, was almost killed by those waves. And it's a miracle that both of you guys survived. Tell me about that. We only have a few minutes left, but tell me quickly about that one.
Yeah, so actually the first time that I'm speaking about this, in public, because it was such a kind of a traumatic experience. It was an accident driving the jet ski after a rescue, and we know that this is part of the sport. But yeah, it was when the situations get out of your control, and you can't do much more about it than just watch. So that was a bit what happened. It was really unexpected situation, like two crossed waves that, we were just like in the worst spot as possible, or like at the wrong spot at the wrong time, we can say. But it was, we could not avoid it. It was, I just picked up Alex, and we were being chased by a wave that kind of bended by the refraction of another sideway wave, and we just the ski jumped twice, and when the ski jumped twice, lost speed. So yeah, when that third wave came on our field of vision, it was impossible to do anything, impossible to brake, impossible to turn, because the jet ski, to turn, you need to gas even more. So it was like those things in life that you need to face it, just like going towards it. And yeah, that's what we did. And luckily we are alive, because the accident, it could be much worse. And nowadays we are alive. We took really good lessons from it, especially as a family, as we were like super friends. Alex is my best mate, my teammate. He's like a younger brother to me, and it's in these difficult times, because we went through all over the process together. We laughed together, we cried together. So in the end of all of the process, we were blessed to be alive, and we were like stronger as a family, more united as friends. We were giving much more value to, we used to give a lot of value to the simple things of life, but now we give even more the simple joy and the simple, gift that is to breathe every day, to be able to walk, to be able to smile, to hug each other. That's like something that's,
it's beautiful
the
to
best
listen.
and the biggest lesson that we took from it, Richard.
I have to ask you, there's a lot of surf movies out there. What's your favorite surf movie of all time?
Actually, it's The Big Wednesday. My inspiration, my surf inspiration, and the movie that I was watching since I was young, The Big Wednesday.
The Big Wednesday. Okay, good. And, before we leave, I would be a bad friend to you if I didn't thank you for the experience that you shared with my family. You took my then, I guess they were 8-year-old boys and at the time 9-year-old daughter, and you patiently sat there in 2-foot waves and teach them to surf. So I always thought that was pretty cool, because here's somebody who's surfed the biggest waves, and yet you had the patient hour after hour to get kids to stand up on a surfboard. So I'll always remember that about you.
Yes, it was like such a good week. It was such a pleasure to have you around and to share with you and with your beautiful family, the ocean, the energy of the ocean. Just see you guys smiling with such a happiness, just doing that simple thing of enjoying the amazing gift, which is like to ride the wave. Doesn't matter if it's like a 2-foot wave or like a 100-foot. It's a special entity. It's a wave created by cosmic winds and atmospheric winds that generate the waves that cross like thousands of miles in the ocean, and you are just like enjoying the last seconds, and that happiness will be with you forever. So it's such a special thing. It's for me to get you and all of the family into that. You were amazing, and it was beautiful to see your commitment and your happiness of waking up and let's go for the wave, let's go surf. And nothing better than the collective smile. And I think that's the best way to and people, it's one of the best ways to spend time with family, to have fun together. But by the other side, it was a big pleasure for me and an honor to. So
Hugo, you're such a great ambassador to surfing, but more so, I think you embody the spirit of what I've come to love in Portugal. So thank you for being a guest today.
Thank you so much, Richard. It was an honor to be here with you, having this amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
I hope you enjoyed our podcast. Now we have a little favor to ask. We'd really appreciate your support, so make sure to leave us a 5-star review and hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode. See you out on the trail.